Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Tammy's Takes, where I am going to give you my take on a particular topic that is trending or that is important to the community at large. However, before I jump into the video, I want you guys to subscribe to the channel. Let's build a community together. Also, please like, comment, and share this video so that we can have open dialogue with not only people within our community that is familiar, but people all over the land. So, now let's get into the video. So today's topic, excuse me, my voice is a little raspy. Today's topic is discussing something that has been trending the last couple of weeks, and that is beauty standards. This was triggered for me by the American Eagle ad that Sydney Sweeney, I think that's her last name, I think she's an actress, that she is getting some backlash about. So if you guys haven't seen this particular ad, it is reminiscent of the 1990s Guess, Jordache jeans, Calvin Klein ads that used to happen in the 90s with like Brooke Shields, and I can't think of the model's name who was very thin right now, but Cindy Crawford. It's that particular look. So Sydney is blonde, blue-eyed, thin girl, and for some attractive. I would say for me, she is, average looking, but I can see how people would think that she was a good looking woman. And in this particular ad, they are showcasing their jeans. And they do a play on words. And Sydney repeats, "I have good genes," meaning, excuse me, meaning Gene. And she said, "My good genes are my blue eyes." And for some strange reason, a lot of people say that that was racial undertones, because American Eagle, for the last couple of years, have been really inclusive with adding plus size models and models of different ethnicities, models with disabilities and things of that nature. And now they're going back to the quote unquote original type of model, which is typically someone extremely thin, white, and not even white with like red hair or brunette, but blue-eyed and blonde. And a lot of people had some negative reactions to it. Now, before I jump into is beauty standards going back to inequality, meaning we are no longer being inclusive with what beauty standards are, I do want to preface this video by saying I think there is beauty in every ethnicity, every race. A lot of the conversation is centered around Caucasian women saying we can't take pride in our beauty because it comes off racist, or comes off that we are being a tool for white supremacy. And I want to say that if you are of European descent, if you are a Caucasian woman, I believe that there are many women of that particular racial background that are beautiful. I grew up in the 80s and 90s, and I will tell you, I've always thought Brooke Shields, who they mimicked the ad from her Jordache, I want to say Jordache ad from like 1989 or 1990, when she was only like 13 and they over sexualized her, but that's a whole nother different conversation. But she was gorgeous. I always thought Cindy Crawford was a beautiful woman. Goldie Hawn, in my opinion, is gorgeous. Charlize Theron is, even when she plays someone that's not that attractive, you can still see that she's attractive, an attractive woman. Sophia Loren, who's Italian and has darker features but beautiful. Marilyn Monroe, blonde bombshell. No one is ever going to argue that Marilyn Monroe was not a sex symbol and not an attractive woman. Now, she wasn't an original blonde, but when she dyed her hair blonde, it made her stand out. So, yes, there are women in that particular look that gives you blonde hair, blue eyed beauty that we should definitely admit they are beautiful women. However, getting into a time where that particular look was a standard in the 90s, in the 80s, the 90s, and for so long that was the standard of beauty, where if you didn't fit into that mold, you weren't necessarily considered attractive or a person that you could limelight in the beauty industry. When I first saw Iman and Beverly Johnson, I was probably 10 when I saw them, and they were modeling for decades before that, but that was probably 1992 when I remember seeing them more prevalently in magazines, and not just black magazines, not like in Jet and Ebony or Essence, because yes, we had those particular magazines that were strictly for the black community, where we got to see women that looked like us. However, when we were going to the malls, the name brand stores, the luxury items, we didn't see ourselves. We didn't see women of color. We didn't see women that were full bodied or full figured. We didn't get that representation until here recently. We didn't even see women with disabilities. You know, I like the fact that some of these brands were including women that were in wheelchairs, or women that were amputee, or women that had some form of unique look to them due to birth or circumstances, and they were still considered beauty, like Winnie Harlow, who has vitiligo. We didn't see that growing up. We didn't see a woman who had a skin discoloration disorder walking the runway or being in these high fashion beauty ads. And actually, the world is saying, oh no, that is actually beautiful. I mean, the reason Michael Jackson literally, I don't want to say he bleached his skin because I'm not sure, but literally would cover his skin, or his skin was turning white, was because he had a severe case of vitiligo, and people literally thought he was becoming white to appeal to his fan base that was white. But to be perfectly honest, I think he was just ashamed of the patches that were discolorated. He even said, like, I have vitiligo and sometimes I am very self-conscious about my skin discoloration, but I am a black man. He has said that in interviews. But of course, he has changed some of his Afrocentric features to be a little bit more European, and so that comes with its own conversation. However, now we're in 2025, and we've had years of seeing inclusivity. We've seen campaigns where we've had nothing but people of color, nothing but full-figured models. You have so many brands that are embracing beauty in different forms, and then this particular ad comes out and people are like, I don't like the way the messaging behind the ad. Not to say that the ad wasn't beautiful, because I saw the ad. She made me want to buy some American Eagle jeans because it was a very sensual type of ad. If you are a marketing major or someone that works in that industry, you would probably say that this ad did what it was supposed to do. It was supposed to get people talking about American Eagle. It was supposed to be getting people to look at the jeans that they are trying to promote, and it got traction, good, bad, or indifferent. And I know in the publicity world, bad publicity is still good publicity. If we're even talking about the ad in any way, did the ad do their job? However, I do want to kind of dig deep into beauty and the standards of beauty that we were trying to change. But, sometimes things revert back and sneak back into society. And that is something that I think none of us really want. So the messaging behind I have good genes, my genes are blue, and then they pointed to her blue eyes, if I'm not mistaken. Now, play on words, most genes are blue. And I think that's what they were trying to convey. They were trying to convey that she had this particular blue brand of gene. It was not indigo. I mean, there's different shades of blue that you can get your blue genes in. And she didn't specify the color blue of gene that she preferred. She just said, we all have good genes. My good genes are blue. And they highlighted like her blonde and blue feature, her blonde hair, her blue eyes, which is her features. She shouldn't get backlash. She got paid to do that job. What the messaging for some people was like, oh, we're going back to this idea that blonde hair and blue eyes is the superior standard of beauty, that your genes are good if you have blue hair and blonde eyes. That was what the people who were against this ad was saying. And then those that were for this ad was saying, why can't we highlight that someone with blue eyes and blonde hair and that's thin is attractive? Why can't we be proud of that look again? And so, I've seen some conservative pages say, bring back, make America hot again. And of course, that was probably some MAGA ideology. Because, of course, make America great again, make America hot again, whatever MAGA is trying to make America be. They can try. I don't think America will ever be this utopian society where we all are just amazingly getting along, because we have people that want to say make America hot again, because who's to say that a black woman isn't hot, or a full-figured woman isn't hot, or a woman of Asian descent isn't hot? Like, who's to say that? And so the discord is, we're going backwards when it comes to beauty standards, to say that it's no longer inclusive anymore, which I don't think it will ever be, because I think as the consumer, I don't think we will ever get to a place where we feel like the only form of beauty is a thin white woman with blonde hair and blue eyes, because so many people don't look like that. Even in the Caucasian demographic, you have so many women that are not one thin. I don't know too many women that are size 2 anymore without trying to be, or just, that are naturally that tiny. And of course, the modeling world still has that particular list of, you have to be a certain height and certain weight and things of that nature for luxury brands. But even with luxury brands, I have noticed in the last couple of years, they have kind of been inclusive a little bit with their representation of who is modeling their clothes and who is buying their clothes. Now, you have some brands that will say, this wasn't made for that particular demographic, which could be racially motivated and discriminatory, because if I got money, which I think green should be the beauty of standard. Like, if I have the money to buy these clothes, to get these products, to have these procedures done, then it shouldn't matter if I'm black, white, tall, short, thin, fat, abled, differently abled. Like, it shouldn't matter what I look like. it should matter that you gonna make money from me buying this particular product or buying this particular brand to keep your brand going. And I think because the era that we are in now, the climate of our country now, I don't know if a certain demographic is trying to like win back power or trying to navigate their place on the hierarchy of this country that they never got knocked down from, really. Like, to be perfectly honest, when I heard a reporter say, you know, what's wrong with us being proud of being white and blonde and blue-eyed, and why can't we celebrate that? We have black girl magic and we have Asian pride and we have all of these things. And it's like, well, why did those things have to happen? Why did we get black girl magic? Why do we have to have Asian pride? Why do we have to have Latino pride? It was because at one point, white people weren't honoring those particular groups of people. Like, they weren't putting those groups of people in ads and in movies and in TV and in music and calling it beautiful, even though clearly you have beauty in all of these different ethnicities. That's the beauty about being a melting pot, because you can see, oh, you know, in that particular community, that particular culture, there is an array of beautiful people. In that particular culture, there is amazing, gorgeous people. I think one of the most striking group of people are Italians. I think something about their olive skin, their dark features, they're pretty. to me, they're pretty. But I also think there are beautiful Latina people, like Brazilian, that's South American. Brazilian people are a whole nother level of attractiveness. Have you People who have been to Brazil have said they go there just to see the people. You know, I've seen people who are Sweden. I've seen pictures of Swedish people, and they're striking, like, alabaster skin with their striking blonde hair and bloods. They are striking people. But I've also seen striking, gorgeous people from Africa and Thailand and India and America, even, because I think everybody in America probably is multi, unless you are immigrant and have stayed within that community. Most of us got a mix of mixture of all the ethnic backgrounds. I, for one, have African, Scottish, Malaysian, indigenous, Wales. Like, I just named 5 different different races and just or ethnicities in just one little me. So I don't understand why they want to go backwards with beauty standards, because I feel like you should be inclusive. I don't know if that's trying to roll back DEI and saying, okay, we're no longer going to be diverse and inclusive when it comes to beauty and fashion, because that's stupid for money purposes, because who's buying your product? Not just a particular demographic. There's more than just blue-eyed and blonde people in America that's going to spend their money, or not. Because if you guys want to go back to like segregation and we spend our money in our own communities, then that's a whole nother topic as well. Because every time we tried to do that, it didn't turn out too well for my ancestors. I know when we tried to spend our black dollars in black communities only and build our own, it turned out deadly for us. I know that some other minority groups have had the opportunity to build their own little community, but only in the confines of what the government will let them do. So yeah, you have Little Italy, you have Chinatown, you have Mexican Town, you have here we have a little Dutch area and Polish area and Mexican Town. Dearborn is full of Middle Eastern culture, and they have their own little demographic, but they're still going out to other places and spending their money. And so you should market to those that are going to spend, and that's going to be a diverse group. So yes, do you want to have a woman that looks like Sydney in your ads? Sure, because white people exist just as much as any other demographic. But you don't want to exclude someone that looks like me, or someone that looks like an Asian person, or someone that may be a little bit heavier on in their body. You want to still keep that inclusivity, because if I see how I look in your product, if I have that representation and it's done well, it's going to probably make me buy the product. If you don't have that representation of beauty in your ads, then you are going to miss a demographic that possibly could make your business better. Unless that's the whole goal. If the whole goal is we only want to have a white based market, or we only want to have a rich customer base, then okay. But say that. Don't because I'm pretty sure American Ego ain't turning away black people or fat people or any other person that don't look like Sydney Sweeney when they come in the store to spend money. You can go to American Ego right now, and it's gonna be a diverse group of people in there, because apparently American Ego's jeans are pretty good. I've actually went to American Ego and I tried on their jeans. They are pretty good. The only problem that I have is that they don't come long enough, because I'm tall. I should have had a tall person in the ad. I'm just saying, tall people need inclusivity too, which is weird because our model's tall. So what jeans? Because she's not short, and I literally like the jeans and the thighs, because I got big thighs. The American Ego jeans that I did try on, they fit in the thigh. They gave me room for my little fupa, but they was only like a 32 inseam, and I need a 35 or a 34, 34, 35. That was my problem with American Ego. We need petite, regular, and tall. So you guys, that's my take on beauty standards reverting back to a time where representation was not there. And like I said, I grew up in the 80s and 90s. I was born in 82. That was a time where, as a little black girl, I had to search for representation at stores that were luxury or major brands. Like I said, I knew about Jet, I knew about Essence, I knew about Ebony, I knew about black brands, but I wasn't shopping at those brands. I wanted to wear Guess jeans. The only reason I got Guess jeans, you guys, was because Anna Nicole Smith she was blonde and blue-eyed, but she was thick. Like, she wasn't skinny. And I was like, okay, yes, I can wear those jeans, because she is not tiny like the rest of the girls are. So even though she wasn't a black woman, she was a woman with curvature, and that made me feel seen as a girl who was growing up on the more curvier side of things. So I was like, I can wear Guess jeans. And yes, I got me like 2 or 3 pair of Guess jeans. I used to love Levi's, and back in the 80s and 90s, Cindy Crawford and I want to say it was Calista, the top. Cindy Crawford The one with the nice lips with the crystal blue eyes. I can't think of these models' names right now because they're not models anymore. They're retired. Cindy Crawford gonna always stick in my head because that Pepsi commercial made Cindy. I was like, now she cute. And I was young. I was like, I want to be Cindy Crawford in a Pepsi commercial. Let me go to the Pepsi machine with my little blue jean shorts and my white tie-up shirt and pop it. And she revised that commercial. But I mean, I didn't see a lot of black women in that time. And so when we got representation, and I know some of my friends that are not that are also minorities, when they saw themselves on the TV through that representation, it made them feel seen, and it also made them feel like, okay, I can support that particular brand because they took me into consideration. And the wording with "I have better genes" or "I have good genes, my genes are blue," just it probably didn't land well in the climate that we are in, because we are so hyper aware of certain people wanting it to go back to that exclusivity where we are separate but equal, and you stay over there with your people, I'm gonna stay over here with my people. And then we have people that feel like we don't need to, integration messed us up in the first place. And so when I think of beauty standards going back and not being inclusive and not representing America as it is and only focusing on a certain gene that is good, that's just problematic. And I think that is why people were mad at American Ego for even using that type of wording. I personally didn't take it that way because I'm not always in the vein of thinking everything is rooted in white supremacy and racism, even though it's a lot of things are. I literally was kind of mad that the ad was just really sexy. I'm like, we gotta rub on ourselves to sell jeans. That was my whole thing. I was like, and use this voice. So the racial undertones didn't go over my head, but I was like, I'm just, girls, take a picture in the jeans and so we can see the jeans. I don't care about your face. I don't care about you laying down on the little carpet rubbing your leg. I just do a twirl in the jeans and let us see the jeans. But so how do you guys feel? Do you think that beauty standards are going back to being exclusive and not including all types of bodies, looks, ethnicities, and things of that nature? Or are we still moving forward and still being diverse and inclusive when it comes to the fashion and beauty industry? If you are a part of that industry and you see this video and you feel like, yeah, that was a problematic ad, they shouldn't have used the wording, or you felt like, you know what, people are making a mountain out of a molehill, it was a play on words, and that really is what they were saying. I personally think that it was just a play on words, but I do see how the messaging can be interpreted as problematic. So leave your thoughts and comments below, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.